Hello, YouTube world. How is it going? We are today, Wednesday, February 19, 2020. So, as I said to everybody before, I love this little setup that I have going on. I'm not really in the mood to really get back into the grooves of filming videos like very straightforward, just because I kind of just want to ease myself back into that, but still here and there, I feel like some topics that I might just want to talk about. So we're just going to use, whatever setting that we have, whatever setting that makes me feel very comfortable so that we can put some videos out. I hope you will understand. For today, I wanted to talk about working as a creator, working as a creative person. I do not have any notes, so anything is going to come directly from my mind. I wanted to talk about that given the fact that I've made the videos for you about bad businesses, and I can see some of the mistakes that people are making when it comes to a creative mind and working as a creator. Now, working as a creator doesn't necessarily mean that you are working in the creative industry. Absolutely not. Working as a creator means you are working from a creative space. So that applies to any type of work that you are doing, whether you work in finance, whether you work in corporate, like whether you work or in the educational field, whether you work as, let's talk about working as a creative person, what you need to know as a creative person. And again, as I said to you, working as a creative person just means that you're working in the creative, as a creator, right? I worked a lot in the educational field, but when I work in the creative, when I work in the educational field, I work as a creator. Why do I work as a creator? Because as a creator, when it comes to projects that I'm doing, when it comes to anything that comes out, it doesn't come out. Um, they're not coming into what the institution or whoever taught me. They come from me. They come from what I want to bring to my kids, to my students. When I work in, if you work in the nail tech, if you work as a hair, anything that you do, jewelry, anything, as a creator, so you create. What is the first thing that I find, excuse me, that you need to be aware of if you're working as a creator? Where if you're working as a creator, the first thing that is very important for you to understand and assess is the right to of your work. So the owner of your work. It's very, very, very important. Why? Whoever owns your work, whoever owns your work, they get your work. Do you understand? And this is where, if we are going to talk and we're going to bring probably the entertainment businesses, writers, right? You protect your work, you protect the writings of your work. Many artists, many singers, rappers, people in the entertainment businesses continuously continue to lose money because they don't understand that being a creative person is great. You're working from a very, very great place. You're working from a creative place. But when it comes to the business aspect of your work, you got to secure your work. You got to make sure that your work is secure. So, how do you secure your work as a creative person? Well, the very first thing that you're going to and you have to understand is who owns the right to my work. So, if you're working and you're not really working as an independent person, so meaning you're working underneath a business, an institution, another person, you need to be very clear, and that person needs to be very clear as to, once you submit your work to them, who owns the right of your work. Who owns the right of your work? I never forgot, Sister Soldier talked about the fact that her first book, not her first book, well, The Coldest Winter Ever, it's a cold-blooded book. If you've never read that book, oh my God, cold-blooded book. I think it was very, very, very popular. And she talked about the fact that her that book was offered a script to be made into a movie. And Soja, I don't believe that she gave up the rights. And I think there was something to the effect that she talked about they bought it from her, right? And as they were planning the movie, she realized that she was going to lose all rights. So as far as like maybe they did not want her to be, the executive or to have something to say, something to that effect. Now, I may not be 100% correct, but it's something to that effect, right? Because she gave the story. And she said the thing with it was she still had their money into her account. Like they had bought these from her, but she still had their money. So what she did, she told them she did not agree. She said to them that she did not agree on their terms. Like she was like, no, I don't agree on your term. So they turned around and said to her, huh, well, we already bought it. So guess what? It's for us now. So we can do whatever we want with it. She turned around and she said, well, I want to buy it back. She said they wanted double the price. She came with her lawyer. So she ended up buying her own work, but she gave them their money. And I never forgot what she said. I never forgot. She said she is not the person, like when people buy stuff from her, she doesn't use the money right away. So although they had sold it, bought it from her, and they paid a good amount of money, she didn't use the money. The money was still in her account. So she was able to give it to them and purchase her stuff back. That is so important, guys. That is extremely important. In whichever area that you are, you need to have your owner's right as a creator, your owner's right. This is my work. I own the right to my work. Now, the youth agency has a art program, and one of the services that we provide to artists, like people who make jewelry, people that we work with, one of the package deal that we offer to them is a package deal that comes with marketing, advertising, and portfolio of your work that we do for you. When you pay for your package deal, depending on the package deal that you have, when you pay for that services, when we do for you a portfolio and you've paid already, the portfolio we have it in our archive, and we also submit the portfolio to you. It is your work. As your work, you have your portfolio, you use it to the best of your advantage. For new clients, for old clients, it's your work. We keep it because if you pay, we always have everything for artists. And if you paid for advertising, marketing, every year you have to renew. If you paid for that, then we always continuously are marketing your work. Continuously, we're doing that for you. So what happens when an artist, it can be, and it has happened, I have portfolios of artists that have not paid for that service. Why? Because it could just be that we've worked with you before, like we've worked with some of our very first artists. They were unable to pay for the portfolio, so we still wanted to provide a portfolio for them because they've worked with the youth agency in the past. But that portfolio is for the youth agency. That portfolio does not go to the artist. Why? Because you didn't pay for it. So it stays with the youth agency. If you want it, you pay for it, and we give it to you. That's the way that it works. So very important to understand who owns the right to your work as a creator. Now, let's talk about another example that I have from working as in the educational field, but mostly from working with mainly a creative aspect. Now, when I say to you that, if you know anything about educational, it's basically a lot of it has to do with academia. Academia is one thing. I mostly work a lot with my creative juices. When you work with your creative juices, it's very delicate, right? Because you work within an institution. So when you work within an institution, the institution owns the right of your work, right? The students are not your personal students. The students are students from the institution. So anything that you do within that institution, unless you get hired as an independent contractor, if you get hired as an independent contractor, meaning you get hired outside of being an employee from that institution, then that's your work. That's their work too, but that's your work. So you can take whatever it is that you're doing with these students, you wrap it up in a bundle, and then you can use that for to gain more contract with other institutions, right? You always have to make sure when you work as an independent contractor that you secure your own work. Why? Because you don't know how people are going to feel. First, people might be tired. It may just be like you can't work a contract for a few months and you don't secure the contract, meaning like you don't have any paper trail, you don't have any pictures, you don't have anything from your work. And then you go back and you tell these people that, hey, you know what, I need this, I need that. They, for one, they may not be structured. Two, they may not have it. Three, it's just going to be time consuming. So you make sure that you have all these things, right? All these things have to be there. This is your work. This is how you're going to get more client. This is how you're going to promote yourself. This is where you're going to tell people that you are, you know, this is what I did. This is where I work. Now, as a creator, I highly suggest that you work as an independent contractor, as a creator. It's very important. Why? When you work as an employee, it's very different from working as an independent contractor. Once you are employed, that means that you are an employer, an employee of that person or of that institution. And if you either quit your job or they terminate you, you best believe that they're not going to be so inclined to give you any type of work. That is not, they're going to feel like anything that in a way, if you're looking at it from a different way, they're right. They're going to feel like anything that you've worked for inside their institution is for them. It's the type of work they paid you for it. You know, they paid you for what you did. So it's normal for them to feel like you gave your best. It's very, 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 very tricky because in the past, I've worked in some places where they still hold a lot of my works. You know, they've never shared all that I've provided within either when I work with some organizations. You know, they just never they don't even have my name in their archive. A lot of these places that I've worked with in the past, I know that for a fact they're shocked. They're not shocked, but they're like, damn, now she got her own stuff going on. Yeah. I got my own stuff going on. It's because people will be grimy. People will hurt you, you know. Very important as a creator to know how to secure your work. Make sure that you secure your work. When you go into these, should you be an employee or should you be an independent contractor, boo? Independent contractor, you come and go. As an independent contractor, now depending on how the contract, you're not an employee. So if you're not an employee, you don't get the benefits that an employee gets. But it's okay because you should know how to maneuver in that lane, right? You should know how to maneuver in the lane of working as an independent contractor. If you don't work as an independent contractor, let's say that you are, let's take for instance, let's talk about that. Let's take for instance the barbershop that I now go back to. And the barbers that are, to me, not supposed to be subjected to what they're subjected to. Now, what would you tell me? What would be the advice that I would have? Well, the first thing is that anyone who would be working in that setting, the first thing, you need to get the fuck out. Like, it should be just a place for you to dip it and bounce. It should just be a place for you to get your clientele and bounce. Why? Because you don't own anything in a place like that. As a creator, it's like it kills your flow. It kills your juices because you're not really making any money because the owner has that right. The owner is the one who determines how much money that you make. And as a creative person, that is the last thing that you want. You should be able to appraise your work because guess what? I've worked with a different organization in the past where depending on the proposal that I'm submitting is different pay. If I'm working with an organization, right, and I've worked with them before in the past, and we have a sort of like collaboration, we have a relationship. It can be that the work that I'm doing for them costs them a lot less than the next person. It varies. It varies based on the relationship that I have going on with that particular organization, based on the partnership that I have going on with that organization. Everything varies. But if I were to work, what is that noise? If I were to, it's very, very windy here. It's been like this for about a month now, over a month actually. So yeah, so if I were even working with my parents, a lot of people always come to me and they say things like, well, your parents have a school, why don't you do a lot of the programs of the youth? They understand. No, no, we're not doing that. Why? Because my mom is the real boss. She would want to have that ownership. And now there, we both are bosses. I own the right to all of the shit that I do. That's how it's going to be. That's how you progress, right? So the other thing now, hold on, I don't want to go back and forth. Let's go back with the barber, then we talk about the school of my parents. Now with these things, like, yeah, I was telling you what would be my advice. My advice would be that this is a place for you to build a clientele into deep and get out. Why? Because you're not getting anything as a owner, as a barber. You're not. You don't even really get any money out of it, because what? Guess what? The owner is the one who determines any type of price. And I told you, this is crazy. You cannot do it like that. Because let's say that you want to build a rapport with a new client. We're still talking about barbershop here. And let's say that you got a client coming in every week, every other week, and that person is doing like all type of stuff. Now, if you are someone who is intelligent, what you're going to do is you want to keep that person as a client, but you want to offer more services. But the way that the owner is going about it, he's killing your clientele because he's overcharging people. He's greedy. So he's making you lose client instead of gaining client. Whereas if you were your own boss, you know how to work with some clients, right? A lot of times, when I'm in the States, even with the price guy that I used to work with, a lot of times it's like I'll come in, like my guy in the States, it's like he knows as a regular client what I do. But he's not going to charge me every other week crazy money. Why? Because he knows I'm a regular client. He wants to keep that flow. He wants to keep that relationship. He wants to keep me coming back. And he wants to keep me sitting in his chair and doing everything. When I sit on his chair, I get a cut, I get an eyebrow done, I get everything done. So as one client, myself, like every other client might come for like $12, $15, But myself, it might just be $25 to $30 at times. Why? Because of everything that I'm getting done. Is he going to charge me over 30 every 2 weeks? He never does that. Never, never. Sometimes I do some crazy design. I may say, Mike, I want to do this, I want to do that. He's like, okay, I'm going to hook you up. He's in a good mood, I'm in a good mood. He's like, for today, that's fine. Today is 22. But I know that the work that he did, including everything, my eyebrows, the top, everything, it's not $22. That's that relationship vibe that you have going on with clients. You know what I mean? So it's always going to be about the services that you provide. Now, on the owner of your right. Now, okay, so you guys understand. Now let's talk about, we're going to take my parents' school. Now, my parents' school is an institution. The administration is consisted of my mother, my father, and they hired 2 other people who work. When I come in, usually I'll come in here and there, I just observe. In the past, when I've worked and done my summer camp, I do the summer camp in collaboration with the school, right? But the youth agency has that right. Why? Because the youth agency directs and not organized, like plan everything, right? From sun up to sundown is the youth agency. The school also participate because the school gives the students, the school gives the space, the school gives a lot. So when it comes to pictures, when it comes to everything, everything is in collaboration. This is where collaboration comes in, right? So who owns the right to the summer camp? Right now, the right for the summer camp is the youth agency who owns that right. But because the youth agency has great collaboration with the school, if my parents felt like, okay, we need some pictures, we want to include what you did in the album, absolutely, there you go. You know it is, and because we had that collaboration, that rapport. So this is really what I really wanted to talk about. It's already 21 minutes into this video. I don't want to keep it too long. I like it actually. Let me know what you think about it. It's a little bit of career. It's a little bit of information for those of you who work in the creative field. The other thing that I actually wanted to talk about is knowing how to get paid. When you are a creative person, you don't always get paid the way that an employee is getting paid. Meaning what? Right now I work as an independent contractor. So if I'm working, I don't get paid the same way that someone who is employed get paid. Someone who is employed securely, you get, and that's the other thing. For example, I feel like the guys who works at that barbershop, they are probably, I don't know, that's me thinking, they might think like it's a better deal for them to have the owner guarantee them their pay every day, but you lose so much more when you do that. The whole point of being a creator is to the whole point about being a creator is to create your own lane. It is to be disciplined with the work that you do. It is to know the streams of income that you have coming in. It is to know the clients that you have. Who's that client? Who do I reach out to? Who do I submit a proposal to? Who do I call? It's a lot that comes with it. That's why it's really not for everyone. But you need to know how to get paid as a creator, right? What is it that you're going to participate in? For example, right now, right, as an independent contractor, someone who works in the educational field, but who works, what is my boom? When do I start? Well, right now I'm preparing for May. Why? Because in May, students are graduating. So by April, right now I'm already submitting work for people to sign up, students for workshop development. That's how you do it. February, March, because these people need to know that you have these going on. They need to know how much is going to cost them, and they need to know if their students is going to be able to participate, right? So it's very important to know how you work. Very, very important. A lot of people don't know their work. They don't know their field. Like, they don't know how to move in the field. This is one of the reasons that you have, just because you know how to sing, don't let people, so many, I mean, come on, we know so many stories of so many people who, like, they lost a lot of money, how do you say, these people who kind of like people who steal money from you, people who are taking your money because you don't know these things. And this is also very important. This is one of the reasons why they recruit very, very young. They recruit at around the ages of 18, 15, 14, very young, because around that age, you're not in the loops. All you want, you're thinking that you're making a lot of money, but you're not, considering the fact that the people who hired you, who are behind you, are significantly making a lot more money. Not only are they making a lot more money, but they own the rights of your work. So that means that after 5 years, 6 years, if you no longer want to work with them or collaborate with them, they can tell you bye, but you don't have any work from them. All this work stays with them, so you can't even use that work to promote yourself. These are really, I have to really be very like, I really have to congratulate myself, because I started to work over 10 years ago, really, and the way that I've worked, and people have never been able to make money off of me, because I've always had a lot of discernment. Right? This is one of the reasons sometimes when I'm employed, now depending on how I am, there has been time when I'm employed that I don't give my best, especially in the recent years, depending on how and what I'm employed, because sometimes I get employed as an independent contractor and I do a lot more work related to, like, events and stuff like that. That's when I'm back in the States. In Haiti, if I'm employed as well, in the past I work as a teacher. I usually give my best for my students, but I might just not contribute a lot to this institution, because I might just feel like they're not really in my best interest. So I'll be your employee because I might just feel like, okay, you know what, but in the future you always look at when you want to switch out that relationship. Sometimes these people might feel a particular way because they don't want you to become a partner, or they don't want you to work as an independent contractor. They want to have that overhead over you, and I just always feel like, no, it's not going to work for me. So this is it, guys. What are we, 3 minutes? So I pretty much like this topic that we have. Let me know what you think about it. I hope you guys learned something from it. I'll come here and there. Let me see how this does the reply, if you guys like it, because I did say to you guys that I wanted to talk about career, and I had 11 likes, which is kind of low. I wish that I had more likes, so I'm gonna go with the likes on this. So yeah, I'm gonna go with the likes and the comments on these videos. If I feel like the reply is good, then I'm going to continue to do it, because the reality is, guys, that if you are not a YouTuber, YouTube is tripping big time. They too are making a lot of change, and I saw it coming. I don't believe that many creators are going to have the luxury to be on YouTube in that manner in the near future, because the behind the scene of YouTube have changed drastically in terms of what content that you can put out, in terms of how they penalize your channel, or how they can make sure like your ratio. I'm still learning the whole YouTube route and ropes. I'm still really learning it, because there are like so many other content that I want to bring to my YouTube, but I also want my YouTube to grow. And you guys have to be really participating in channels that you want to see grow. So I think that what helps channel is the, like said, the interaction. So if I'm bringing in new content, you gotta like it. You gotta let me know and let YouTube know that this is a content that is doing well in the channel. All right, so thank you so much, guys, for watching this video. I hope to see you soon. Have a beautiful evening, afternoon, morning, whenever you watch this video.